Welcome back to Right Answers Mostly, a podcast on what you didn't learn in history class, but you really wanted to. My name is Tess Bellomo.
My name's Claire Donald.
And you guys?
It feels right that we have a third co-host. It's like, truly, I feel like the third co-host of RAM.
You guys know her. You love her. It's Hannah Brown. She's back.
Hannah Aaron Brown.
Oh my gosh. Hi, y'all. Hi, Tess, Claire. Thank you for having me. Rammies, pleasure to be back. Love you guys too.
Hannah, your Recession Pop episode broke the Rammy internet.
I'm so honored.
We actually literally did.
Yeah, Instagram really went wild for that reel.
I love that the millennial Ram heartbeat is so strong.
I think we're all just like craving a simpler time, and it's nice that we can get together and all be together and talk about it as much as we want to.
Yeah, this is our life's work.
Truly.
Hannah, how are you? What's going on? Give the Rammies an update on your life.
Oh my gosh. I was last on in January? February?
Dark times.
I think it was February, but it seems like yesterday.
It really does seem like yesterday. Let's see. I brought back my show, Not Aspirational, with Hannah Aaron Brown. Rammies, check it out if you like what you see and what you hear.
No, seriously, it's one of my favorite podcasts. Wednesdays, I'm like, thank God there's a new episode. And I wish that you did a daily episode, but I know that would be a lot to ask. But it's truly one of my favorite podcasts.
It's so
ever.
comforting.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. You guys give it a listen. You'll be obsessed with it.
Yes.
Stop. Thank you. I brought that back. I feel like we all text a lot, and I feel like the millennial heartbeat is not only strong in the RAM community, but it's strong in our group chat. So that's really fun. We're ramping up for a Brat 2.0 summer. Lots of fun plans in place for that. And just like overall trying to vibe and like, ignore the horrors of the world and have as much fun as I can.
We're trying. We were all on a group text talking about today that this summer we want to pick each other up and like make it very high school. I want to pick y'all up. Let's go get a fountain soda. Let's listen to like early 2000s pop music. Maybe we'll get some ice cream or like a snow cone and just drive around.
God, it's so important to connect to your inner child in the summer. Because like if
really
we're not doing that, what are we doing?
What the fuck are we doing? And like last year was depression summer, which I say every chance I can. And that being said, no pressure, but I'm so excited to honor my inner child this summer and like get an ice cream. You know what I was Googling this morning? State fairs in our area, which, maybe it's a little dark, but like I feel like if you do it in sort of a campy, ironic way, you can have a lot of fun at a state fair.
No, we always had a fair. It's called the Grape Fest back at home, and people would like stomp grapes. But it was like the last weekend of August, like right when school was starting too. And there was nothing like it because you would meet up with your like summer crush and be like, "Are we going to do this during the school year?" And everyone's like looking hot. It was so fun.
I've always had heat stroke at summer fairs. Like every time I like get way too hot, I end up having to leave early.
No, that's so true. There's nothing worse than being at like a congested state fair where people are just like walking around ever so slowly, no spatial awareness, and you're like about to pass out and you're like, if you don't fucking move out of my way.
Have you guys been to the Malibu Chili Cook-Off?
No, I've actually never been. But it's like a staple.
That shocks me, you guys. It's such like it's such an LA girly hot girl thing to do.
I feel like it was very like past the pandemic. It's like it hasn't been able to get its groove back, don't you think?
I went 2 years ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Katie was performing. I went with Allison.
I thought that was pre-pandemic.
No, it was after.
Wow.
And we had a nice time. Hillary Duff goes every year, so truly I see her there all the time.
Oh, I'm going. When is it?
It's very her.
I think it's August.
I think what's the long weekend in August?
Oh, there's not a long weekend in August. Oh, Labor Day. Oh, so that's September. Yeah.
It's Labor Day weekend every year, so we should go. Just be prepared for the heat.
Well, the heat and like I'm not much of a ride girl because my motion sickness is crazy. And I threw up in front of the cheerleaders that were a year older than me when I was in 8th grade, and nothing was more humiliating in my life.
I'm fine to walk around and just get a little hot dog or two.
Yes.
Call it a day.
Just
2.
Once a year, as Lena once said, once a year.
Okay, so we're going.
Hannah, what are your hot girl predictions for the summer? Like if last summer was Brat summer, what are the girlies doing this summer? What's cool?
Great question.
That's such a nice question. I think it's definitely Lord Summer, which we've talked about. I do think Charlie XCX is cooking something up. And I will say, I feel like it's a very unserious summer. It's also a Stranger Things summer, so I think there's going to be a lot of like inner child healing, nostalgia, and unseriousness. Like, it's silly goose o'clock.
I love that. Stranger Things. And would you mind defining what a Lord Summer might be for us as a hot girl anthropologist, knowing what's in on the pop culture and like what's the difference between brat and lord? Because girls so confusing, we can confuse them sometimes. You know?
Wow.
So
Wow.
true. I think Brat Summer was a lot about like being like a feral club rat and like a 365 party girl. And I think Lord Summer is more it might be a little more internal, a little more emotional. It's like in my mind it's like you're at a dinner party with your girlfriends and you're like laughing but trauma dumping at the same time, and then you're like, oops, we're crying. Should we go to another bar? So it's sort of like, I think there's a Venn diagram of like Lord Summer and Brat Summer that we're all going to experience in a really beautiful way.
So every time we go out for dinner.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, that's exactly what happens.
Sounds like a great fucking night. I don't see the problem.
I mean, I can't wait for the summer then. If that's what it is, sign me up.
We're ready. We are ready.
Well, thank you for that, Hannah. Well, speaking of, let's see, help me out with the transition, Claire.
Girly pops and girls and hanging out and millennial heartbeats.
We are going to be talking about the HBO show Girls today because I feel like it is coming back. I feel like Gen Z just discovered it. It's all over social media. And I want to start the episode by asking you both, what was your experience with it when it was on air?
Hannah, go for it.
I watched it as it came out. I think there were only like a couple episodes out, and one of my college besties, Shayna, shout out, was like, you have to watch this new show called Girls. It's like Sex in the City, but for like younger people. And I was like, say less. And so then from then on, like, and that was like, yeah, I think like halfway through the first season. And then I watched it in real time for the rest of its days. And it's a comfort watch for me. Like, I've rewatched it a million times. There are certain episodes I go back to depending on like what's going on in my life or like just like the mood I'm in. So it's a very special show to me.
Oh, God, that's beautiful. Claire?
It is such a special show. I am trying to think. I think I started watching it as soon as it came out. I think so because HBO like marketed the shit out of that show, and I think I had just moved to LA. I was on my own for the first time, so it felt like, oh my God, here's a show about like women being on their own in a big city, and so I was really excited to watch that. And I haven't ever rewatched it. I started last night. I think because, you know, when there's something that's like, it's so nostalgic, it's going to break your heart. Like, I can't rewatch Friday Night Lights yet. I can't, like, I didn't think I could watch Girls. And now that I have, I'm so in it. And it felt like watching your older sisters navigate. Like, we were texting last night. I learned so much about sex from this show.
Which is interesting. And we'll talk about all the sex on the show and how people were truly like disturbed by it, which is now we're just in a different times. You know, the show came out over 10 years ago. So it's like so fascinating to see how far we've come, but also see so much of the same stigmas.
Yes. And can I say something?
Say it.
All adventurous women do. Which, if you guys know, well, I'm sure we'll talk about that. But yeah, I mean, I just loved it. And I think I have a new appreciation being 30 and watching it than I even did when I was like, I guess, 19 watching it. But that's my experience. Go off, Tess.
Yeah.
I very similar experience to Hannah because it came out junior year of college for us.
I think so, yeah.
It came out 2012, I think is what I just saw. First season ended.
So junior year just finally felt like there was one show on air that like was like I felt so seen, you know, and like of course there's like a lot of stuff about, you know, like the lack of diversity and these privileged girls and all of that, but I think I was just like, I'm trying to figure it out too, and like thank you for representing that, like the messiness of being in your 20s and the toxic relationships and all of it. So I think I just like, I mean, I loved it. I felt so seen by it.
Same.
Yeah, and it felt so like coming up with them, like growing up with them. I've talked to you about this, Tess. Like, I felt like no matter how messy and chaotic I got in my 20s, it almost felt like okay because I was like, I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. And I feel like that was like a pre-TikTok time where like messiness wasn't depicted on the internet. It was very much like everything was Pinteresty and perfect. So there was this show about women like being like making fucked up decisions and making mistakes and figuring it out, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not alone in being a chaotic mess. And my family compared me to Hannah Horvath much more than I would prefer. But yeah, it is what it is.
But hey, main character energy.
Hello.
Main character energy. Also, Hannah is amazing. Like, I think there was a rawness to the show with all of them that we just needed. And like, so many people compare it to Sex and the City. And when it first came out, that's how it was marketed.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the younger version of Sex and the City, like a little bit more like silly and messy. And Sex and the City has, I mean, perfect show, no notes, but doesn't have that like rawness to it. Perhaps.
Tess, do you mind doing that with your nails again for the ASMR community?
So nice.
With the one that is gone.
If you're watching on YouTube.
This is girls. This is
That
girls.
is girls.
It is.
It's so relatable.
We're trying to hold it together.
She's method acting.
Yeah. No, you could say that. Okay, so as we start every episode, we're going to cite the sources. We're going to do a brief little history, and then we're going to get into some deeper conversation. Okay? So my sources are kind of chaotic. Feministbookclub.com.
Perfect.
That seems right.
Yeah.
Paste Magazine. CBC. Just like silence. Wikipedia and my 20s and your guys' 20s experience. You know, it's going to be a lot from the heart.
I don't think besides Wikipedia, we've never used any of those sources before.
No, I was like, why isn't there just a normal article on this goddamn show?
I'm shocked that there's not something from like Vulture or like The Cut.
Yes.
There was Vulture of, what was it?
Some of Refinery 29.
So a lot of the articles I did sort of skim were like shitting on the show. And I wanted to, of course, we're going to talk about it because there's like, you know, pros and cons to everything. But I wanted to keep it a little bit more like through the feminist lens that we always do and not like go so deep into like, this was a terrible show for women, you know?
No. And it's like we can critique it while also celebrating it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so from feministbookclub.com, they had a little spiel, which I thought really represented the show very well. And it says, Lena Dunham's Girls chronicled the lives of 4 female friends, fresh from their liberal arts experience, navigating the 2010s era of Brooklyn. Girls was to be the early 20s companion to Sex and the City's 30s women, frank portraits of love, life, and growing up in New York. But it brought intense criticism, first to Lena Dunham and the elite whiteness of the girls in question because they were so unlikable and annoying.
That's so interesting because I find them so funny because they're not perfect. And I think that's why people think that they're unlikable. And like everything is so funny to me about that though.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, we see this from the beginning. All of the reviews of season 1 are like, why are these girls so unlikable? And female characters don't get the freedom.
Right.
To think about all of the unlikable men on TV. Can you even actually name one likable man on television?
Think about all the unlikable characters on Girls.
Well, the other
Men,
thing too,
male.
it's so much internalized misogyny, just like that critique within that critique, because it's like if you try to write a likable woman, then she's a pick-me girl and she's annoying. And what I loved about Girls was like Lena wrote characters that were flawed, but then like there would be these quote perfect women who entered the scene, like Mimi Rose in season like 3 or 4, and she's so insufferable and she grates on you the way that like you as a woman would be grated on if you were confronted with that woman in your real life. So I think the way women were written on the show was actually really nuanced, and so I think that critique, like I'm like, if it comes from a woman, the misogyny is calling from inside the house, and it comes from a man, like, of course.
God.
Yeah. And like unlikable to who? You know what I mean? Because it's like what you're saying. Like if you write a likable woman, it is going to be pick me, and that's likable to the male gaze.
Exactly.
And I feel like we used to have to define like female characters in movies and television. Like, do you remember in 2016? Maybe it was Nicole Kidman. God, it probably was. She's done so much of being like, why do we? Or maybe it was Reese. One of them during like kind of the Me Too movement and just like the time when we were like, why are women put into these categories? That they were like, why when we talk about our characters in interviews, we have to say like, but she's flawed, but she's complex, but she's unlikable.
Right.
It's like, why do we even have to say any of that at all?
Yeah.
So true.
Men are not doing that.
No.
Men are not doing that. So the first season of Girls was filmed in 2011, and it was fairly like a no-name cast. It was Lena Dunham and co-creators Jenny Connor and Judd Apatow.
Judd Apatow is so right for being the producer. Like it makes so much sense, you know?
God, it's so true. And the show premiered April 15th, 2012. And Girls catalyzed the discourse of a new decade. So, Twitter like exploded when the pilot came out, and words like privilege and problematic emerged overnight, and everyone was very shook that Lena Dunham was like the ingenue of the series.
Can I just say something? There are shows like Entourage that were out, that it's an all-male cast where it is such a fucked up show, and talk about privilege and talk about like problematic, that is so celebrated. Meanwhile, there's 4 girls in Brooklyn who are just like trying to figure it out. They're 23. Oh, this episode, I'm already going to be pissed.
Claire, I put in all caps Entourage right after that. I was just like, have we not watched that show? Do we not know that show?
Also, like Mad Men, which, like, granted, that's an older group of people, but like, was anyone likable on Mad Men except for like Christina Hendricks's character Joan?
Yes, such a good point.
Well, I'm even sorry to say this, but I was thinking about this during my morning walk. Even like Michael Scott in The Office is like so lovable and funny, but he's also so like inappropriate and problematic.
Yeah.
And everyone is just like, but he's like goofy. And women don't have the ability to be like goofy.
But have we seen a show up until this point? Yes, we saw Sex and the City, but we didn't have Twitter at this point. I don't think that we'd seen an all-female cast, especially like on, with social media up to this point. Have we? Insecure came out after Girls. Then there was Sex and the City, like Golden Girls, but that was also before, like, you know, and also a different demographic.
It's sad that all of us are like, I don't know. Like
an all female, like a female Entourage cast, it's like I can count them on my hands. And it's like once every decade.
Yeah.
And so that makes sense to me that people, now we have Twitter and we see 4 women on screen and we're just like,
and people are just screaming, like punching their screens, being like, this is disgusting.
This is freaking gross.
Yes, Hannah, please do that.
Sure, I need it, Dunham. I don't want to see your tits anymore.
Hannah's troll voice is my favorite thing, and I'm so glad we have it on RAM now.
God, same. That is the third co-host, truly.
The trolls.
Your alter ego, yeah.
Yeah.
The trolls.
People were so angered by Lena's tits. They were like, fuck your tits.
Well, we are going to get into the nudity of it all because I feel like we could talk about that for like an hour. So before we get into why everyone hated the show, let's talk about the main 4 actresses and a little conversation around Nepo babies.
A little nepotiz.
Had you guys did you realize that they were, quote, Nepo babies when this came out, and did you care?
I didn't realize that I think I might have known Alice. I think there might have been rumblings about who Allison Williams was because Brian Williams was like a main character in our house. Like he was always on the TV. But the rest of them like had no idea. And I was saying I got to go to a Q&A and they brought up this discussion about how everyone's parents are famous. And I think that was the first time I had heard the term Nepo baby.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recognized Zaja Mamet's name, and because I was like, you know, like such a theater kid, and I was like, oh my god, David Mamet. And I honestly did he write like Oleana, which like is that play problematic? Like whatever, you know what I mean?
Probably.
Yeah, probably. But I remember just being like, I'm an artiste and I recognize last name Mamet, and that is so amazing. But I remember just thinking, oh my god, all these girls are so good, and like when I graduate college, I'm gonna get to act in shows just like them. And then when I found out they were nepotism babies, I was like, fuck. And that has followed me the rest of my career, where I'm like, oh my god, that girl's great. It's like Maya Hawke. I'm like, okay.
Same, Hannah. That is like all of our experience, I feel.
Everyone is a Nepo baby. Like literally 90% of the time, at least there's some distant connection. So everyone just know that. Okay.
Oh, wait.
Know that.
Well, and I'm sorry to sidetrack us because we do need to stick with the nepotism babies. But like, Tess, you got to say your biggest experience with girls. With Allison Williams, like important. You are Allison, but we'll get to that later. But I just think that we should point out to the Rammies that Allison Williams and Tess look so much alike.
We did converse over social media twice about how we looked alike, and this did, especially like season 1 when she was in college, or when I was in college, we looked a lot more like season 1.
You guys look so much alike. Yeah.
But it was fun. Like I had like some celebrities tell me I looked like her, which just like made me happy. Like Sophia Bush was like, oh my God. And that was a good moment for me in my, you know, early LA days. But we'll post on the carousel our interactions.
Yeah, we should talk about that more later, but sorry.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, we can't let that go.
Well, I loved that in college. It was like my whole identity in college was then I was like, people think I look like Allison Williams, and I never shut up about it.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, especially your interactions with her online, like, come on, you're like, well, we're sisters.
It was my pride. And then I really tried to like, oh God, that's a whole nother story, and that's a little sad. We'll get to that later of me trying to contact her agency. But yeah, so the girlies, let's go through them, who they play, and who their parents are. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have Lena Dunham. She plays Hannah Horvath. She is the daughter of artist Laurie Simmons. Did you guys have any idea of who Laurie Simmons is?
No, because it's like New York art scene.
Yeah, I like grew up poor. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, and Lena Dunham in an interview kind of makes a good point. She's like, who's like, we're going to give the daughter of Laurie Simmons like a show. Like, she's kind of...
I saw that, but this is the problem with Nepo babies when they're like...
When they get defensive.
Well, yes. And it's like, yeah, sure, you're not in the exact same industry, but you know who's buying your paintings or your works? Judd Apatow. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like the rich...
You have the connections that people don't have, which works in every single industry. That's how people move up. But like, don't say that like, no one's going to give an art dealer's daughter a job. It's like, no, but you have the intro that no one else has.
You get the meeting.
Yeah,
totally. But I would have said the exact same thing if I was Lena Dunham, if people were constantly asking me this.
Totally.
She was like, art historians consider her mom a key figure of the pictures generation and a group of late 1970s women artists that emerged as a counterpoint to the male-dominated and formalist fields of painting and sculpture. So she was like a feminist artiste.
That is so chic.
That is so chic and so exactly right for Lena Dunham's
100%.
mom.
Like, of course, Lena Dunham writes what she writes. You know what I mean?
100%. Well, I always say about Lena Dunham, too, like, even if she wasn't a Nepo baby, I think she would have made it just probably in her 40s or 50s, not in her early 20s.
Completely agree.
That's so true. We have Allison Williams, who plays Marnie Michaels, and she is the daughter of NBC nightly news anchor Brian Williams. What was the controversy with Brian Williams? He lied about something?
He got canceled.
I thought he lied about like doing reporting like on the ground, like in like a war zone or something.
Yes, and then they're like, you weren't there, and he was like, damn it.
He's like, which like relatable king to be like, oh well, I'll fluff that up. I had a mutual friend with Allison Williams who I used to work with who was like, I just texted Allison like saying, I'm thinking of her and her family during this difficult time, and I was like, this is so unrelatable. I'm sure I don't know what to say.
I don't think I would want one of my friends to be like, hey, heard the news that your dad lied about being in a war-torn country. Like, super sorry about that. Hope you guys are okay. Like, it's not like we like lost the family dog. You know what I mean?
It was very like, she had a famous mom too. And she was like, I really get what they're going through.
I'm sure the fuck you do. Yeah.
I'm sure that friend also was like anything to talk to Allison Williams right now. So I'll just send this text.
I mean, I get it. I've had very similar experience. I was like, anything to have her respond to me. Okay, so then we have Jemima Kirk, who plays Jessa Johansson. Is that her last name on the show?
Had no idea.
Same.
She's just Jessa.
She's just Jessa. It's like Madonna.
Yeah.
Just Jessa.
Yeah.
She's the daughter of Bad Company drummer Simon Kirk, who's like a British rock star.
God, doesn't everyone match? Actually, I don't know. We'll talk about Zosha or however you say her name. But like, so like Jemima her dad would be a rock star.
Rock
star.
God, she's so cool.
Unbelievably gorgeous in every single way.
Yeah, it's irritating.
Literally perfection. And then finally we have, Hannah, you say Sosha?
I thought it was Zosha, but then you sent us that clip of Lena saying Zasha, and then I'm like, I guess it's Zasha. I don't know.
It actually might be Zasha Mamet. Yeah?
I feel like I heard her name for the first time. I was like, I've never heard a name like that before in my life.
It's just such a rich people thing to be like, and she shall be named.
How do you pronounce it?
Zasha.
And she plays Shoshana Shapiro, daughter of playwright. Say it, Hannah.
David Mamet! My favorite!
Oh, it's so good. Because, just like, I remember that same feeling. If you're like, I know who that is, and that makes me like I could be friends with all of these women.
Yes. I'm an acting major at a state school. I know exactly who they're talking about.
Exactly.
I had no idea who he was until acting class when we were forced to read his book. And I was like, I don't understand anything he's saying right now.
Yeah, you said, I'm good on David Mamet. Thank you.
Yeah, I was like, but I will do a monologue for girls for the 5th time, and no one's going to like it.
Oh, yeah. So what monologue did you guys do in acting class from girls?
I did the eyebrows one, where she has her eyebrows drawn on, which is so funny.
Good.
And then she's going to be like, you sent me a picture of your dick that wasn't meant for me. I did a lot of auditions with that monologue, and I don't think anyone really got it.
Oh, I think that's
like,
such
what
a good
the hell?
monologue.
I think it's such a good monologue too. It's amazing writing and like the emotional journey that she goes on with it. It's so good. But hey, I don't think I stuck it. We'll say that.
I feel that. I did in my like senior auditioning class. I made the scene where she's at the doctor's office is it in the All Adventurous Women Do episode?
Yes, it is.
She's at the gynecologist and she's like, I kind of want to get AIDS. Like basically just because she's like, I don't want to deal with these responsibilities. I'm like, no one can really ask me shit or tell me shit if I have AIDS. And so I made that into a monologue and everyone in my class was like, oh.
Like, what is this?
And I thought it was so funny.
Y'all, we were just ahead of our time.
We were.
I mean,
Tess,
the show.
you won?
Oh God, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did anything that Allison Williams said. I was like, I'm going to do it too. I'm sure I did. And now like I can't remember, but I think I would always like do her scenes. And she also like didn't have like the best. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But yeah, like so the first 3 episodes, speaking of ahead of its time, we have like they talk about HPV, which I feel like everyone was like. They talk about abortion, which everyone was like, ah! And it was truly like, I don't think. And, you know, I think like abortion was brought up on TV shows as like, there's a 16-year-old and she, you know, has to make this terrible decision for herself. And it was always like in a very dark way. And yeah, I mean, second episode, they get right into it. Jessica gets an abortion and it's like,
well, she is going to get an abortion, but I think she has a miscarriage.
oh, that's right.
Which is also a really interesting thing to bring up. Like she was having sex and begins to have a miscarriage and is very like, oh, thank God about it. And I think, again, people watch that and they're like, first of all, the fact that you're not saying abortion but never get one, this is a special circumstance. They were very much like, we're going to go get an abortion because I don't want to have a kid right now.
Yeah.
And then a miscarriage. And then the way that she handled that. And it's like, it's so refreshing now to watch it and be like, wow, the way they had their discussion around abortion, you still don't see that on TV.
Mm-hmm. And the
God,
fact
not
that like
at all.
all the friends were involved and like one of them, I forget which one, is like, it's just so Jessa to be late to her own abortion. And it's like, when you're in those situations in real life, like you are going to like, your friends are going to bring some levite to the situation where it's not all like dark and stormy Lifetime movie. It's like one of your friends is going to make like a fucked up joke because you're like, I don't even know what we're doing right now. Like that is so honest.
That's a great point, Hannah. But that's like the whole show. And like I think that people are so offended by it being like they're talking about this in this way. And it's like, but women do that all the time just to deal with the struggles and
The horrors, yeah.
the horrors of being a woman.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So before we get into the controversies, just to give some praises to girls, Lena Dunham was the only one that ever won for the show, which I thought was interesting. They won a Golden Globe in 2013 for Best Television Series, Musical, or Comedy. She won a Primetime Emmy for her role as well, and then won Critics' Choice Awards. And just those three awards, and Lena won all of them.
Okay, they were robbed.
Yeah, they were robbed. Lena deserved her flowers on that. Like the first episode when it's like written, directed, executive produced, starred Lena Dunham. For my experience, that was the first time I had seen that from a woman, especially so young. And like, I can't imagine knowing what goes into that. I can't believe she did that at 23, 24, 25, however old she was.
Yeah. It's so true. I think that was the first time I was ever like, oh, I can do that too. Like I can like write something, direct, like act in it. Like it was just very inspirational. It was.
It was.
So for the controversies, just because I think this is so interesting for people that like lived it, remembering what the conversation was, and then maybe Gen Z watching it now being like, really? That was a big deal or not? Kind of want to go through some of the main points that were controversial. We talked a little bit about Nepo babies. Let's go for number 2. Let's get right into it and talk about Lena Dunham's nudity. So Lena is nude in a lot of the show. She's having sex. She's naked. Her top is off. She's in a bath. She's very nude.
Yeah, it's not even all like sexualized nudity. Like it's her hanging out in the bath with Allison Williams or just like changing or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you guys feel about it watching it in like 2012? Were you like shocked by it?
I think I was surprised initially, and then because I was like also like famously a prude like in college, and still kind of famously am, but but also like I feel like there was also that part of me that's like, wow, that's really brave of her. And I thought it was like really heavy metal that like there was this like real looking person. And I hate to even use that term, but you know, like we don't see a lot of like non-model-esque bodies naked on TV. And I still don't really think we do. So I remember thinking it was like kind of heavy metal of her to be like, yeah, I'm topless on my own show and I'm going to fuck hot guys and you can eat shit and die.
And it still is heavy metal of her to do that. Like, it just really is. I think I was just shocked because we don't see body diversity, like, ever. Mm-hmm. And also, if we do, it's usually, like, if the body is not used to what we're seeing, it's the butt of the joke. And this was just is. It wasn't even, like, really I mean, it is addressed in some episodes, her body, and I think that's her experience, like, with men and stuff like that. But it just was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like a great point too of like, she's in the bath, like with Allison, she's shaving her legs and Allison's like eating, like that was such like that's such a part of girlhood. A lot of people, not everyone, you know, feel more comfortable being like naked around their friends. Mm-hmm. And I remember at the time, like talking to some men, boys, I will say, about the show. And they were like, it's so like grotesque and disgusting. Like, I'm not trying to watch like Lena Dunham be naked every chance she could get. Like, she was trying to like, and I just remember that so well, that men just always said that when talking about the show.
So
totally.
They were so mad about it. Jesse Solomon would have hated Girls.
Jesse Solomon would not be able to
talk about it, Hannah.
I don't like want to like see like Lena Dunham's boobs or whatever.
Oh my God, it makes me so mad.
You nail Jesse every time. Like, it's perfect.
God, it really is. God, yes, yeah, so it was like her nudity, her body, then that came up truly throughout the entire show, which is just like, and who else was nude on the show? Was it just her and
Jessa was nude a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying, we see like, what is it? I don't know her name either way. Shoshana. Sorry, yeah, Shoshana. She in like one of the first few episodes when she's about to, but she doesn't lose her virginity. Her underwear gets taken off.
That's right. And then Allison never showed her boobies.
No, but you see like her ass getting eaten by Desi.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God.
Well, so sex was also like such a thing on this show because like I think it showed, at least at the time, showed sex in a way that felt like not pretty.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is important to show women. Like there's going to be weird sounds and weird movements and
weird men.
Weird men.
Talk about
a freak.
it.
Yeah.
I've never seen a character like Adam before, and I never have ever since. And I'm like, thank God, Ramona, thank God.
Yeah. What did you think of Adam? What do you think of Adam?
Triggering young man.
Talk about it.
In every way.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
No, you.
I mean, just the way that he like breadcrumbs her and he's like annoyed with her for existing. He makes a joke out of her being upset. He doesn't acknowledge her feelings and he'll give her the bare minimum. And then she's like, oh my God, yay. Like, he's the best. I love him so much. Like the amount that she lets slide just because she's like down bad for him. And by the way, the sex they have like is very uncomfortable, feels predatory, feels like maybe not fully consensual at times. Like, it's really uncomfortable to watch. And I just feel like it's like, speaking from my experience, like so relatable to be like down bad for a guy that like treats you like shit and you like are like dick whipped, but like for why? Like the sex isn't even good because he doesn't care about you. So like you can't connect. It's like, yeah, it's a lot.
It's so universal though. Like that is when they're 24 years old. That's kind of how sex was for a lot of women at 24, where you're like, like, did I want to do this? Why am I doing this?
Yes.
Why does it feel like this? But I still like them, but it doesn't feel respectful. And I think I was triggered during a rewatch like a few months ago. I was like, I hate how he's treating her and I hate how they're having sex. And it feels, like you said, Hannah, I was like, is this even consensual? And it made me very uncomfortable. And I think I had like a, why would she write this moment of just like out of like being uncomfortable. And then it's like, that's such a universal experience for women.
It really is. It wasn't consensual a lot, even though she was there, even not actively saying no. We've all been women in that situation of like, I actually don't like this and I don't know how to approach this.
Yep.
Right? Yeah, she wrote that really well, actually, I think. And I'm sure a lot of women watched that and were like, holy shit. And she's not praising it, too. We're not all like, oh, my God, we want them together.
No.
Well, that's a great transition because like the next controversy is like glamorizing toxic relationships and like Where is it glamorizing to? Because is it?
I don't think so, and here's why. I think when you are present in a relationship, especially in your early 20s, your frontal lobe is literally not fully developed. And you are riding that roller coaster of like, we're fighting and then we're in love. And we had this amazing like date and now he's making me cry again. And it's like, I feel like she really did write those peaks and valleys of what it feels like, the emotional roller coaster of being in a relationship in your early 20s. So like there are moments between them where you're like, oh, that's kind of like cute and romantic. And you do kind of sometimes forget other things that happened earlier in the series that weren't okay. Like I feel like she writes it the way you process it as a woman in that situation.
Yep.
I think that like glamorizing a toxic relationship would be more like Carrie and Mr. Big on Sex and the City, where you're like, oh my God, they're OTP. And it's like, wow, they both suck.
Damn, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think like if you were to look at it from a show about a man, like Californication, okay? Like, you know, like this guy that's, you know, treats women so badly and he's a sex addict and super toxic cycles. It's like, oh, but he's kind of a badass. And then when women are like Lena Dunham as the, what's it called when someone's lead? Protagonist. Then it's like, this is, you know, glorifying it. And it's like, but not, it's her experience. But once again, we're just like putting, I feel like people cannot understand that when it's a female protagonist.
Yeah.
Right.
Even with like Marnie and Desi, like I feel like that relationship is one that like looked really pretty on paper and then was a total fucking disaster. And I think like she really honestly wrote like what happens when you go for a relationship because it looks good on the gram and how actually ugly and fucked up it might be when you finally get this person that you've wanted for so long, you know?
God, that relationship, I was like, I hate you guys so much.
They're
together.
insufferable. I've known
God.
real life Marnie and Desi's, and it is a lot to be around.
Well, they're all over the West Side.
all over. And
Oh
Silver
my God.
Lake.
Yeah. And Silver
Especially
Lake.
in like 2016, it was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
The show gave permission for people to do that more
Yeah.
often.
A fedora, a man in a fedora or a newsboy cap and a guitar.
Oh my God.
But they do like cover so many different types of relationships too. Even I was watching the first season last night and experiences like Allison Williams having that artist who is older than her, but she's in a relationship with her boyfriend and he like approaches her and it's like,
And he's so little.
he's so little.
But you're also like, oh.
Yeah, and then watching it older, I'm like, oh my God, that is like, he's so predatory. But you remember being like a 23-year-old and being like, this is everything
You
to
feel
me.
so powerful.
Yes.
Yeah. And also like her relationship with Elijah. Like there's just so many different types of relationships in the show.
Oh my God. Hannah, what is it? Episode 2 of Hannah and Elijah getting drinks together.
It's like one of the first few episodes. And it's, I mean, that's a TikTok sound now.
What sound?
When she's like this fruity little
little
voice
voice?
that you're putting on.
Fruity little voice. Oh my! I think that's actually one of the best written scenes in all of television.
I love the part when he's like, your dad's gay. He has an ear piercing. And she's like, he got that on a trip he took with a group of his male friends. And then
Are
he's
we
like,
hearing
Are
ourselves?
we hearing ourselves? Are we hearing ourselves?
I mean, her writing just is really incredible.
But
really
God,
is.
that scene is so relatable. You know,
So good.
just I was like, you are you. I am me. You are me, and I am you.
Representation matters.
Representation matters. And the final thing that we're going to talk about that was controversial before we get into more episodes and little fun questions is the lack of diversity. That this was during a time, I feel like that conversation really started more like 2016, but she got a lot of heat for it. This article says the most pressing issue was race. Girls is set in one of the most multicultural cities in the world, and the central cast was all white. In season 2, Lena seemed to respond to criticism by writing a black character, Sandy, played by Donald Glover, whom Hannah dates, and she breaks up with him when he is because she finds out he is a Republican.
I mean, talk
That
about
scene
relatable.
is insane. Yeah.
Talk about
like,
relatable.
Yeah, but to like write that character, and then again, it's like you're writing like a token character, you know. So,
Yeah.
when did Broad City? Was Broad City before or after Girls? Because that just popped up for me. Because I feel like this was
After, I
it was after. Okay, because this was also a discussion that they had too.
Broad City
addressed,
started
too.
in 2014. 14 or 15?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, so it was after. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yes, it's Girls is an extremely white show.
It's so white, and it's like supposed to be about like, you know, this, yeah, like it's set in New York, and it's supposed to be about them meeting also other people and every single person that they meet seems to be white. And Lena was like, I'd say defensive at first when people asked her about this. She was very much in that like, look, I'm half Jewish, I'm half WASP, and I wrote 2 Jews and 2 WASPs, and that's what I knew what to do. That's how I only knew how to write when I was 23. I was grateful that it brought up more conversations about a very important subject. It also brought awareness to us needing more people of color who are actually the showrunners that can share their own experience.
Yeah. You know, I think I'm not trying to be like a Lena apologist, but I do think it's a tough line to walk, because if she tried to write a character that was not her own lived experience, I think that could have very easily backfired and also been problematic, where it's like, well, why are you writing about someone whose lived experience is different than your own? That's offensive. And so I think that was like probably part of her being like, well, I'm just going to write what I know because that's all I know.
Yep.
But then the other question is like, how many people were in that writer's room, and was there space to bring people of color into that writer's room so that we could like have a show that had honest stories about people who are not just a bunch of white privileged people, you know?
That's a great way to put it, Hannah. Yeah, it's like, well, you guys have an entire team, and like that's your responsibility. Like, sure, like Lena might be like, how do I do this? And it's like, okay, then who should you be hiring?
Right.
I think she nailed it with like, we've got to start at the top, and we need more diversity at the top. We need like more female and like people of color showrunners, you know, and but also like she did start this show, and I'm not also being an Alina apologist, like, but she did start the show when she was 23 years old. So it is like people at the top need to bring in more diversity to the writer's room and everything, you know?
Like Judd Apatow, maybe he should get a little bit more heat for it than Lena Dunham, you know? Like, I think it is.
But that'll never happen.
No,
of course not.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just going to cast my wife and everything and my kids.
No, literally.
I mean, I do love This Is 40. It's a great movie.
Same.
I mean, Leslie Mann is my queen, so keep it up.
She is great.
Yeah.
She is great. Okay, so guys, why do you think Gen Z is connecting to the show now? What do you think it is?
I'm getting a
Guys,
little
have moment.
defensive because they shit on us for years, being like, "How could you like this show? You're a bad person if you like it. You're a racist and you're a bad person." And I was like, "You weren't fucking there, okay?
You weren't there. You don't know.
You don't fucking know." And I'm sorry, millennials, we've gotten like fucked since we were 10 and the Twin Towers fell. So let me watch my fucking show.
Let me just have this.
Let me have this. And now they're like, actually, iconic. Actually,
They're like, wait, I'm like a Marnie, I think. Wait, no, I'm a Hannah.
I'm like, I'm getting so, you know me, I get so heated about innocuous things.
I know. I get it, Hannah. It's obnoxious.
But I really am just like, okay, like, you guys rip on us for like everything, and then you just steal it for your own, and it's fucking annoying.
Well, every time with Gen Z that I'm always just like sitting back and be like, just you wait. You're going to be a loser before long.
You wait, honey.
You
it's
wait.
coming for you.
And we'll laugh.
Yep.
And we'll laugh.
Yep.
Do you think they're like shook that there was a time in life that was like this, where it's like, you know what I mean?
Okay, well, can we talk about seeing the old iPhones? Like, they were so young. And
Twitter?
like, yes, and seeing the screens, I was like, I'm not okay.
I
Like,
know.
I miss it.
A simpler time.
No,
Yes.
and I think that's what Gen Z is connecting to. I think they wish that they had what we had. Where like we grew up when like social media was enough of a thing where it was fun, but it wasn't that like instant gratification, which we talked about in the Recession Pop episode too, where like there wasn't Snapchat, there wasn't Instagram stories, like we were still present with each other, and so I think for them it's like escapism.
Wow. And I do think too, like these shows before, like Claire and I were talking about this the other day, like why rom-coms aren't as good anymore. Like sometimes I think like the phone takes away like a level of mystery or conflict, or like, because it's like, you know where everyone is, you know what people are doing, you see people's lives, and like Girls is still so like pure in that way that there's like random run-ins where it's like, how could this have happened? And it's like more innocent.
Also, maybe Gen Z just wasn't old enough to connect with the show. Like when it was like first, you know, when it was first out, they were definitely not old enough. I mean, some of them were still in the womb, which is crazy. 2012, yeah, I mean, I guess they would like still be, I guess that's Gen Alpha. It doesn't matter. Like they were still so young. And so I think maybe they're in the real world now. They're seeing it, they're living it and appreciating it. And Girls is just so honest. It really is.
Could Girls be made today, and like how would it look differently?
I think it would be annoying, to be honest.
Talk about it.
Okay, because here's the thing. I think with the criticisms of the original, I think now another problem is that sometimes studios write shows and cast stories in a way where they're checking boxes and they are tokenizing different types of people to be like, we're safe. Look, we wrote this like beautifully diverse show and no one can get mad. And I think unless those stories are honestly written, then you're not actually doing those communities any favors. And so I think unless it would just depend on the team behind it, but like I think if you're going to fetishize a bunch of different groups of people and be like, this isn't girls, this is people, and you're going to make this show and try and check a bunch of boxes, I don't think it would be as honest as it was. And I think that's why it was good to begin with. Does that sound insanely problematic?
I think you nailed it.
Nailed it, Hannah. Like, absolutely.
I think overcompensating did a really good job of
Yes.
what you're saying of avoiding, where it's not like fetishizing, I can't say that word, a group of people. It's like very honest and grounded in that way. But again, like if it's not going to be that, then don't do that because then it's just disrespectful.
Exactly.
I can't wait to watch Overcompensating.
Oh, it's so good.
Did you guys finish it?
Yeah.
I finished it in 2 days.
How many episodes?
8?
Oh my
I
God, I'm
think.
so excited. I need to finish Mom Talk and then I'll be on my merry way.
I'm stuck on Girls. I'm like, Mom Talk might have to wait a second, but I got to get on it for the Rammies. I got to get on it for you.
Yeah, but it feels so good to be into scripted. You know, Hannah and I were just talking about this. Like when you're in it and you're like, God, this feels like it's like good for my soul and my brain.
No, when I am into a scripted show and I'm reading a book, I'm like, I actually might be the smartest person to ever live.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys read as much as you do.
I mean, I've read half a book this year because I started it last year, so I wouldn't say we're readers. It's almost July.
Yeah, but I think people assume you're always reading, which is really chic. And I wish I had that, you know?
I think as long as the perception is that I'm always reading, that's fine by me.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, I was at Dog People. I was at a dog park the other day, and Hannah and I were texting, and I sent her a picture of the book. I was like, well, I brought the book, and so here's a picture of it. I'm
So
not
people
reading
are like,
it.
Sometimes it's like you just buy it for the covers, and people are like, ooh, she wants to read about politics.
Yes.
Yes, totally. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about like favorite episodes of Girls. If you were to pick one that was like the most impactful to you, what would it be? As a woman, as an artist, whatever it is.
Panic in Central Park with Marnie and Charlie.
Give the synopsis if people aren't aware.
Oh, so this is like a contained episode. It's like a short film, and Marnie and Desi are married, and she's fucking miserable in her marriage with Desi. So she's like, I got to get the fuck out of this house. I love the line, I'm cruel. I'm cruel. I don't want to get a scone with you, and now I'm cruel.
So good.
Open your heart to me, Bella. It's fucking open. So Marnie like takes to the streets with her headphones on, and then she stumbles upon her ex-boyfriend Charlie, who last time we saw him was this like gangly tech nerd who like had a startup company, and then it tanked, and we never saw him again. So Christopher Abbott came back for this one. The actor who plays Charlie came back for this one episode. At this point, he's like shaved his head. He's got a beard. He's filled out. He's looking good. Okay.
Very hot.
Me like you.
Yeah, me likey more than I ever likey before in previous episodes of the show. And so then they have this like whirlwind day into night together. And that was the first time I heard the song Tied Up by Casey Veggies.
I'll be a lady in the streets.
The scene where she's like, well, my scene is that I'm hungry and I'm fucking rich. And then they go to
Cue the music.
And they go to the Italian restaurant and they dance. I mean, like that whole episode just like broke my heart. And I feel like I saw it came out pretty close to like my first serious breakup. And I just remember it like wrecked me in the most cathartic way possible.
I actually have a pit in my stomach. Like hearing you describe it, I feel sick.
It's devastating.
I have chills. Like every time I even think about it, I have chills because I think it's that true, like it's that beautifully written universal story that everyone's like, oh, you have this moment in time with someone that you used to love, whether that's a fantasy or it really happens, and then it ends very quickly and your rose-colored glasses come off, and then she's like, oh, you're addicted to
Heroin.
meth or heroin, right?
I think it was heroin.
And you're just like, damn, this is, and we shouldn't be together, and it doesn't work anymore. But like, God, we had this night in New York that was just so
magical.
exhilarating.
And like also I feel like Marnie is she's so immature for so much of the show, but she like fancies herself this like mature woman, which is so funny. But in that episode she really does have this beautiful arc where at the end she's like, I might get murdered, but I don't want to be married to you anymore and I have to go. And it's like you really see her stand in her power as a woman for probably one of the only times in the entire show.
100%.
That's so true. I remember she posted like behind the scenes from from that episode, and she, like, always, you know, when actors post themselves crying, being like, this is like the last shot of the day where I like really felt it, and she was just like, thank you to Lena for giving me this opportunity. Like, it was like the most challenging acting I've ever done. It was the most like gratifying, and I was just like, wow, she is an actress.
But honestly, like, I don't roll my eyes with that one so much. I guess because the episode is so intense, and I am like, I can just imagine Lena writing that and being like, this is going to be like a chunk for, I sound like so actory, but like that she can chew on. You know what I mean?
No, it was like
And
a beautiful,
intense.
yeah, it was like a beautiful opportunity for Allison. Because like, what are those called? Bottle episodes, kind of?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, what, it's like, those are very hard, and like, she's in every scene, and like, we just never saw Marnie like that, like you said. So it was very powerful.
Someone has got to, someone as in I'm going to do it, make a compilation of that episode to Chloe and Sam or Sophia or Marcus, Tortured Poets Department. Like, if the people that's going to hit, it's going to hit. So
Let's do it.
TBD, follow us on on
shit.
TikTok at Right Answers Mostly. 'Cause it's like
that's
the perfect
good.
song for that episode.
Oh, God.
You needed me, but you needed drugs more. I know.
Talk
I
about
know.
it. Claire, what's your favorite episode?
I mean, speaking of drugs, I remember dying laughing when, and I think I'm about to watch the episode when Shoshana accidentally does meth.
Classic.
It's so funny. I'm trying to
good.
think if there's another episode that really, I mean, I know I'm going to be like, why didn't I watch the whole series before this episode? Because it truly has been 10 years since I've seen, or 12 since I've seen this show. So there's so much that I don't even remember.
I mean, same.
I mean, we were talking about earlier, I remember when Riz Ahmed came onto the scene, and that really did it for me. But yeah, the show gets a little darker as we go on. And so, like, I'm living in the light of the first few seasons right now.
I know. I usually don't go beyond first 2 seasons during a rewatch.
Yeah.
But Hannah, do you take it all the way to the end?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite season?
Oh, fuck. They're kind of like smearing together.
Yeah.
I feel like probably maybe 2. What all happens in 2?
I truly don't remember.
God, I
like,
don't
and I wouldn't
know
remember
either.
Spearing.
I'll do some quick Googling, but keep going.
Yeah.
If you're like, if you have rewatched it a few times, am I making this up? Is there an episode where a girl is playing a Rihanna song on the trumpet at like the very end from Auntie?
Oh, no. You're okay. Desperado.
that?
That's one of my
Desperado.
other favorite episodes, but that's also a bottle episode. And Tess, I was
Okay.
texting you about this one. She like writes a piece about this author who like had an inappropriate interaction with a student when he was on a book tour. And in the end, his daughter comes in and plays the flute, and she plays Desperado. And it's
yes.
so good.
God,
Yes.
it's so good. Yes.
I remember that like really sticking with me, and I remember on the after show her talking about like choosing to do Desperado or whatever. And
Yes.
it's so she is just a great writer.
The music, you guys, too, like, just go to Spotify and look up Girls soundtrack. And I was looking through it last night, and I forgot that I like even like Camera Obscura, which is like, I love them. That's how I discovered them on Girls. Like, the music is so good.
Yeah, it was kind of like the OC for me in that it like informed my taste in music for the duration of it being on and like beyond.
I mean, it's the first time I ever heard dancing on my own,
yeah,
which is one of like the best scenes I think in all of the show, because that is girlhood.
Same. I think we both, Hannah, we talked about this, that we discovered Christine and the Queens, which he identifies as a different artist name now. But rolling the credits and it came on, I remember being like, what is this? Because it was music like that you just stopped and we went, what is this song?
Yes.
Oh my God, always. And that's like Lena, I think Lena Dunham is a very like, she thinks of it all. You know, like she is very like someone that like can write and direct and act, and then also be like, you know what's gonna fucking hit at the end is to like play this Robin song, and the internet's gonna lose it. Like it was just very
Cultural.
It was
Wait, Tess,
cultural.
what's your favorite episode?
Yeah.
Honestly, God, I don't know what my favorite is. I think the pilot was just very like informative to me of like the pilot really like, made me want to write. Like before Girls, I was like, oh, I'm writing like little like short stories. And I think the Girls pilot was like, oh, this is how you write a pilot. And like it informed, like it was so informative. It like set the tone, the structure of it. I was like, I like learned a lot from it. And like I still think of the pilot when I think of like establishing characters. Like I just thought it was so like well written.
Yeah.
So smart. How does Shoshana know everyone in the show? Because obviously Shoshana and Jessa are cousins, but how does Shoshana know Hannah and Marnie? Because even I was just watching this and I was like, what's the link there?
Because she visited them in they had like a college weekend together, right?
That is actually so unclear.
Yeah, I feel like that to me, I'm always like, wait, how do you guys know each other?
I think she like makes some comment of like, I haven't seen you since something.
Interesting. But I wasn't saying that. I was just curious about that from like watching last night.
Yeah.
Well, you know what was a big thing also is like this introduced us to Adam Driver.
Claire, that was my next point.
I see you. We see each other.
It was literally, I was like, let's talk about Adam Driver, how he's maybe the most like successful quotes as an actor out of all of the cast. I'm like, isn't that interesting, isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't that interesting?
One of the only men on a show called Girls.
And he's now like an Oscar nominee and in every fucking movie under the sun.
I truly was like, I've never seen a character like that. And like with Love and Light, I've never seen a man who looks like that. He does like, doesn't he have like the most like interesting features?
No, he looks like a Doberman.
Or the cat.
Yes, or the cat.
The cat.
Wow.
Yeah.
He is an interesting looking fella.
He is so interesting. And the way he talked and he was like, the writing, I'm like, what was the writing and what was him? Because even the eyebrow scene where he goes, you look like a Mexican boy. It rules. And it's just like, was that writing? Or it's just like, was so funny. Or a Mexican teenager, something like that. It was so funny. And then it rules afterwards. It's like, whose choice was that?
Apparently when he auditioned, they were like, within 2 seconds, they're like, yep. Which
Have
I'm
you
like,
seen his tape?
No.
Yes.
It's so good. It's
What scene is it again?
I don't remember. I really don't remember. I think it was actually a scene that maybe didn't make it in, or I don't know, because it almost seems like a meet cute if memory serves.
Yes.
But
I think
he's
you're right.
like leaning against the wall and like rolling around and like doing shit where it's like, as an actor, I'm like horny for that, where I'm like, oh my God, to be so like in your body and be like, I don't give a fuck what these people want. I'm just going to do this my way, which is of course so Adam of him. And you can see Lena being like bewitched mind, body, and soul by this man. And it's just like, of course he fucking booked it. Like no one else could have done it.
God, you're so right.
And he was a Marine before.
Like-
when I found that out, I was like, wait, what?
It's so perfect. Like it is. He's such an odd character. I mean, I've never really
He's
been
a
a
freak.
fan of him on the show, but he is an amazing actor.
He is. I'm just like, where did you come from?
I know.
See, I think he is that guy. I remember when the show first came out and I was like, that is a weird looking fellow. And then like enough seasons went on where I'm like, he is the kind of guy that you're like, I need to have sex with this man or I will never stop thinking about it. Like I need to know if he's going to throw me around the way I want him to. I need to like I have this fantasy. It's twisted. It's dark. I'm not proud of it, but I need to just drunkenly text him and be like, come over just to know what's going to happen.
Like consumed by it.
yes.
And that's the character in the show. And I think
Yes.
that's why like Lena is so genius. And she must have saw him. And like, I'm sure the energy in that room with that audition must have been
Crazy.
powerful. Powerful.
Jack Antonoff is getting a little jealous.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Are we going to talk about that?
Well,
I think we should.
I think we should too. I mean, they were together, Jack Antonoff and Lena Dunham. I'm sure people know this, but if they don't, I think they were together, 8 years?
That's so long.
They were the artsy couple.
And it was like everything at the time. It was like, oh my God, 1989. And then Lena Dunham was friends with Taylor. And it was like, that was a time in pop culture.
She did Lena so dirty.
No, it's not okay. How dare she? I would never forgive her. If you
Bad
guys
blood video. Everyone gets to be hot, and she has a cigar, and she's like, Mandima.
But not only that, also bringing out all the supermodels on the 1989 tour. And not that like Lena isn't a beautiful woman. It's just like I would, if someone was like, you're going to stand next to Gigi Hadid, I'd be like, no, I'm not.
I'd be like, I'll be in the next one.
They're all in like Victoria's Secret fashion show clothes, and Lena's in like little like Pinocchio shoes and like tweed little pants and like a top. And I'm like, you're a bitch for that, Taylor.
Which
You're a
leads,
bitch for
wait, they're
that.
not still friends, are they?
No
No,
way.
I think they are. I think that they are. I think she like recently said something not that long ago about Lena.
Wow. Because I was like, were they ever friends?
Well, God, I'm like, should we do a whole episode on Lord and Jack and like all of that too?
I think you should.
Green
Bring
light.
up the PowerPoint. There's like a 64-page PowerPoint or something that someone has made on the internet about
Angel.
Lord and Jack. Yeah, like that is journalism and doing the work.
It is.
Lord's work.
Lena Dunham has been through so much. If Lord came out with Green Light and I was listening to it, I'd quite frankly
And
Yeah,
then
jump off
he
a cliff.
goes on to marry Margaret Qualley, who's like, it's just, she's the diametrical opposite of Lena, except for that they're both like white with brown hair and artsy.
Yes.
truly. He does love an artsy gal, doesn't he?
Loves
He
an artsy
does.
gal.
And the thing that like really hurt my heart in the interview that Tess sent us last night is that Lena, because Hannah has this famous line in the pilot episode where she's like, I think I'm the voice of my generation or the voice of a generation. And Lena was like, I think that line's going to follow me around my whole life, meaning like, I will continue to create amazing content and be the voice of my generation. And as we know, that was not her journey.
Do you think it would have been different for her if she was more like conventionally beautiful?
Yes.
100%. Like, not a doubt in my mind. And she has said some things that I think are not okay. Like I don't know if you guys remember, she defended one of the girls' writer when there was some sexual assault allegations.
I forgot about that.
I did too until I looked it up last night. I believe it was around the Me Too movement as well. And it's tough to see. I hope that she's learned a lot from the Me Too movement. But like that wasn't great. And I think that she was very active on Twitter, and anyone who's active on Twitter at that time and comes from a place of privilege is probably going to say some unfortunate things.
Yeah.
But I think that she, again, if it were a hot woman, if it were a man, we would not be having this discussion.
Well, we were texting about this, and I was like, look at Stassi Schroeder, who's like about to get her own Hulu show. Like, she's flying high. She's fucking fine. She looks better than ever. And it's like, if it's a conventionally hot woman, people are like, it's like that halo effect where people are like, people grow, like people change, like give her grace. And it's like, we've barely heard from Lena Dunham in years. And I am glad that I think she eventually got to a point where she's like, I need to shut the fuck up because every time I open my mouth, I put my foot in my mouth and I say something out of pocket. And like, also, everyone who was offended by the shit she said, which I'm like failing to like summon specific details. I just know she's said a lot of stupid things.
Yeah.
Everyone's allowed to be mad. Everyone's so valid in their reactions. But has enough time gone by that we can like maybe conceivably believe that she has done some self-reflection? Like, can she get that same benefit of the doubt?
Yeah, God.
I also, and like, maybe I regret saying it's on a podcast, but I really don't. Like, I think that what her passage in her book about her experience with her little sister when they were younger was taken completely out of context. And I think they were both children. You guys can look it up too. And she was exploring her body, and not even in a sexual way. They were 5-year-olds, and I think it was completely taken out of context in a really unfair way.
I wouldn't want people to know the shit I did when I was a child.
No, I'm good on that.
Yes. They call it playing doctor. Like,
and also, like, how vulnerable for her to write about it. And then people were like, classic, you're just a disgusting monster.
Yeah.
And she's like, I literally came and write about, like, my childhood experiences of, like, figuring out myself and sexuality and, like, all of that without you guys now turning it into something for clickbait. Like,
Yeah.
But there was no one who was defending her at this time. Everyone really jumped ship really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you know, at this time, because her book of essays it's not that kind of girl. That's what it's called. Not That Kind of Girl. Mindy Kaling's book, Amy Poehler's book, and Tina Fey's book. I feel like we're all around the same time, and it was like, oh my god, I have to soak up all of these books.
Yes.
God, it was such a time, wasn't it? Drew's book came out during then too.
I also associate. Do you guys know the book Bad Feminist by Roxane Gay?
Yeah.
Like, it was all around this time.
It was a time. It
Yeah.
was a time. Well, Lena has since reflected on her time on Girls, and she did a post, I think during the 10-year anniversary. And would you like to hear what she said about it?
Yeah, what you say?
Would love.
Okay. She said, at 25, you don't realize what a little kid you are. For any 25-year-olds reading this, no matter how much you've seen or done, I'm sorry to inform you that you are still very young. I felt, for all intents and purposes, like I knew my way around, but I was a fawn, shaky on my legs, uncertain on the icy forest floor. The feedback that came to me, at least the feedback I could hear, was all about the ways that my young body was unacceptable. On one hand, it was a nightmare because it confirmed everything I thought I knew, affirmed all of the 7th grade ghosts living in my head, but it also forced me to accept swiftly and gracefully the ways in which to live in a body is to dance constantly with our collective fear and disgust at fallibility, morality, and imperfection. There's almost nothing that scares us more than the truth of what our bodies are, and that, even with all these modern tools, their fate is so often out of our control.
Oh my god.
Damn.
Yeah. So I think she still reflects on the show as very much like, it's all still about my body, and the feedback I receive is about my body, and that's what the discourse is still, and that must be fucking exhausting.
Yeah.
And she is so young. I gasped when I watched the pilot last night because I didn't realize how young everyone was.
I know.
Babies.
They're so cute.
Babies. They are so cute.
Yeah.
So, yeah, God.
I mean, it sucks too that like she could accomplish all these things, and the thing that people are still hanging on to is what she looked like on this show. Where it's like no one's ever been like, Steven Spielberg isn't fucking hot, okay? And maybe that's not a good comp, but like I'm just
No, it is.
like, you know, I'm just like Judd Apatow even. It's like no one's ever talked about whether or not Judd Apatow is hot, and like I find Judd Apatow hot, but I think like, is it because he's really talented? Maybe there's such thing as a talent crush.
100%. I mean, that's what most men attraction, I feel like, are.
Literally, you're like,
men
you're
in
not cute,
Hollywood-
but
yes, that's why men in
you're
Hollywood
funny.
pull such hot women all the time.
It's so
Exactly.
true. And yeah, I feel for her in that way. And she, I think, has like kind of retracted just based on being like, I need a moment. I believe she's directing the Polly Pocket movie, or did she drop out?
I mean, that's last I heard.
That
But
she
I
is
don't-
still?
But I feel like that was a long time ago, so I don't know.
It may have, because I feel like it fell in through like a few. She's no longer, as of July 2024. She's not directing it. She was going to be directing it. Yeah. Damn, after 3 years, she dropped out
Fuck.
of like working on it.
I would love more content from her, honestly, like more writing and.
Well, she's coming out with a show this summer on Netflix that has, what's her name?
Meg
Megan.
Stelter.
Yes.
Oh, when you guys were saying that last night, it was not clicking for me, and now it is. That seems
Yes.
like a good fit.
Lena was going to play Meg's character, and then she was like, I can't do it. I can't take like scrutiny over physical appearance.
She will.
Yeah, she's like, Meg, you got this. You're young.
She's like, you're stronger than I am at this point. Good luck.
Oh my God.
Thank God.
Thank God.
Oh, well, I'm excited to see that show then.
Me too.
I'm excited too. So I think we have, some things coming for her. Allison Williams is now like the horror film girly of the century. She's making bank.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie she did called The Perfection?
Hannah, Kunal and I talk about this constantly because we were like, what was that?
Fuck was that?
Claire, it's like a crazy lesbian horror film about these violinists.
Oh?
And like she's like, there's worms and they're in my arm and they're eating my arm. And then in the end, there's like this guy and he's just they amputate all of his legs and he's trying to play a string instrument, but all that's left is nubs. And so you just see like his shoulders and his like legs like.
Sorry, I just had a moment of like, wait, what am I listening to
No,
again?
exactly. That's how it feels to watch it.
I watched that movie twice. Don't ask me why. Katie and I watched it together, and then when Kunal and I were long distance, I was like, because you like scary movies, I think you're going to love this movie. And he was like, why did you show me that?
Like,
I tried
didn't,
to watch it with
actually.
Jake, and Jake was like, absolutely not. I will not watch this with you.
It's crazy. It's a crazy movie, but she's good for her.
I mean,
Get Out.
I mean, Get Out, she was so good.
She was so good.
I think that's something that surprised me on my rewatch right now is like how, yes, they're all Nepo babies, but and that doesn't mean you're not talented. I wish Nepo babies would take that in when they get critiques about that. They are all so extremely talented.
They're all perfectly cast.
Yes. Subtle
Truly.
moments of, because acting is not acting, it's reacting, if I can put that out there. But their listening is just like so present.
It really is.
Yeah. What's Jemima Kirk and Mamet doing? I'm so sorry. I'm
Mamet.
scared to say her
Mamet.
first name.
Mamet was just on that show on Peacock with Stephanie Shu about, it was like, she's like, every guy I have ever had sex with is dying. And
Yes.
and Zasha played her best friend.
Sasha.
She's also on the, it's kind of a funny story, the one about the podcast with Kaylee Cuoco.
Yes.
Oh.
She plays her best friend. They don't really give her much. It's very much like the character that's like, what are you getting into again?
Yeah.
Like always just like,
I'm worried about you.
Yeah, no personality.
Yeah.
And Jemima was on the last season of Sex Education.
Oh.
Was she like
She
a
plays, like-
slutty teacher?
She plays like the hot teacher that they're all like, oh. And I was like, perfectly cast.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to put her in a box, but she is so hot that I would love to see her playing that character always.
She needs to be in more things.
I
She
know.
does.
Oh, wait. She was also in this, I want to say it was like on Hulu, it was like an ABC Family type show, but it was like she like had an open relationship with her husband, and then these like college girls start hanging out with them, and they're like, "Would you like to enter a relationship?" I think this is like a year old. Yeah.
Oh, good. So they're all working.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say Jemima Kirk, like, yeah, it's like I don't want to put her in a box either, but there are some women in this world who just like ooze sensuous, sexual energy. And I used to always want to be one of those, and I accepted that like I'm always a Shoshana, never a Jessa, and like that's okay.
Oh, that's a perfect transition. So before we play our little game to end the episode, who does everyone relate to the most?
Shoshana.
I'm like,
Or maybe
I just
Hannah.
don't know.
Yeah.
A little
No,
mix?
those are perfect mix for you.
I have to say Marnie just because my college self would be like, you have to say Marnie right now. At the time, it was Marnie. Now it would probably be more like Hannah even.
Yeah. When I was like younger and someone would ask like what girl's character you were, I was like, well, I just want to be Marnie because Allison Williams is so freaking gorgeous. But I think there are parts of Marnie, like that scene at the lake house, and I hate saying this, but when she's like, well, we could do it again to like make it better, I was like, oof, I see my Virgo energy in that, and I really hate that. But I probably like Hannah, maybe a dabble of Shoshana, and then like if we're having an amazing day, then like maybe a hint of Jessa will come out. But I'm never cool enough for that.
God, I know. I think Marnie, like when I was in my early 20s, like that facade she puts on, I felt so intense. Like that she's just like, this is what I'm going to say because people are going to like this. Like just that like people pleasing,
Yes.
uncomfortable, controlling of other people. Like I was like, oof, I at 24 was very much in that.
Same. I think that we could all see ourselves in all of them except for Jessa because she's just such a specific character.
God, she is.
And
Yeah.
like I could never be as chill as Jessa. Like I think there is a through line with Hannah and Shoshana and Marnie, which is they're all like uptight about different things that can relate with each other. But in that lake house episode when Marnie's like, I planned dinner, so I got this much food, and then you invited all these fucking random guys to the house and now dinner is ruined. Like that's something that I would crash out about for sure.
That's something I've done before.
Yeah. Because it is rude to bring random people to the lake house. And it is not chill. And it is a big deal.
Yes.
And I'm Team Marnie in that.
Justice for Marnie.
And I also love Shoshana's arc because she's like, that last episode where she's like, I think we should just call it, we're not friends anymore. I have a husband who's normal and you all fucking suck. And I relate to like Shoshana's arc very much so.
I love that.
She is so precious in the first season. I adore her.
I know, she's so cute.
Yeah.
She is such a specific person. All these people, I'm like, they're so specific and they're so perfect.
And so well written.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So to end the episode, we're going to play How Much of a Girl's Millennial Are You?
Oh, God.
I did this in a fever dream, so let's work together on this.
Fun.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what I wrote. Number one, you've been to a warehouse party and posted about it on Facebook.
I mean, no for me, dog.
No?
Yeah.
Okay, one for
I've
me.
been to a warehouse with you, party once with you, but we didn't post about it on, no, did we? Not on Facebook.
Definitely not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
not even on Instagram.
Yeah.
You had a Tumblr that was really depressing, but pretty.
Yes.
Yes.
I wish. Like, you guys know how bad I wish.
No, but it's okay.
Okay.
It's for the
You
best,
went through-
honestly.
It's, so much time lost. You went through a rosé all day phase.
No.
Oh,
I did.
I did too.
It's everywhere. I had
Rose
shirts that
gold.
said it.
Rosé all day, baby.
My brother Adrian had a huge, not like painting, like a sculpture that said rosé all day in his apartment. I was like, we were all going through.
I love that. I worked at a restaurant in Chicago that had like a rosé cart. So it was like a cart filled with ice that had like 50 kinds of rosé in it. And stocking it was part of my side work sometimes. Yeah.
So chic.
I don't much care for rosé these days.
I don't
anymore.
either.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think that probably we drink way too much of it, but I'm like, I would never choose to have a glass of rosé now.
Never. It almost
Yeah.
makes me feel sick.
Same. It makes me feel sick.
Truly. We don't need to go back.
No.
Number 4, and everyone keep track of how many they've had.
Okay.
You've worn a wide brim hat, non-ironically, to wine tasting.
Ooh.
Because it was chic? No, Hannah? God.
I tried
did.
one on once at H&M and then I said, no, not for me.
Fuck. I did.
I loved hats. I loved the hats and the wide brim hats in situations like, I'll send the picture. Like at a house, my second winter back after moving to LA, it's a Christmas house party, pitch black at night, and I'm wearing a like wide brim hat.
She's a witch. She's fashion girly.
It's like, why are you wearing a hat inside right now in this like boy's disgusting apartment?
No, that was really
So
chic for the time.
It was fashionable at the time.
Yeah.
Number 5, you have recorded yourself singing on photo booth.
That's a yes
For
me.
sure.
Good. You've used sepia because you actually thought it was a good filter.
Yes, correct.
I mean, I kind of think, is it a bad filter?
I think we could bring
Just
it
saying.
back.
I think it like makes everyone look gorgeous.
Just saying. You studied abroad and didn't shut the fuck up about it.
Didn't happen for
Oh, yeah,
me.
you didn't. Oh, I thought you maybe did, Hannah. That's right.
But I love that you did.
Yeah,
I'll just put. It's not a good thing. Okay, I was so
It's so
obnoxious
Marnie
about
of
it.
you.
It was so obnoxious.
so Marnie of you.
You moved to New York because of Sex in the City. It's for the people at home. I know that you
Yeah.
guys didn't.
We all moved to LA.
You've tried to get back with an ex and begged him, and then once they said yes, you said, actually, just kidding. I just needed the validation, and you never spoke to them again.
Kind of.
Yeah, same. I mean, we've all begged for a guy, right? Like we've begged. Like, have any of you else like cried and begged someone to make out with you?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One time I was at a house party that my Charlie ex-boyfriend was at, and it was a Christmas themed party, and I dressed up as the lamp from A Christmas Story. So like I made a skirt out of a lampshade, and
that's
I
cute.
was in like fishnets. I thought I looked so cute, and I was like, "Hey!" Like thinking this was the night we were gonna get back together. Unbeknownst to me, he already had a new girlfriend, and I did know her also from college, and I found out like a month later, and I was like, "That's so embarrassing for me."
No, that outfit was hot.
I'm sure he still thinks about it.
Yeah, I'm sure he does, for better or for
When
worse.
that girl dressed as a lamp threw herself at me at a party. Not a lamp. Not a lamp.
I think I was also crying and begging for the makeout at a Christmas party.
Oh,
Christmas is
The
a horny, emotionally charged time of year.
oh, for sure.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotions.
Yeah.
And finally, you had a 9-to-5 office job and immediately bought a bandage dress and a blazer to wear over it.
I never had one. I worked in restaurants. Did you guys?
Same. No, I worked in restaurants too.
No, I didn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
What'd you guys get? What score?
Oh, I think I 3.
I'm a 4 or 5, I think.
3.
Okay. You're 3?
believe.
Only 3?
3, maybe 4. Sorry, I'm bad at math.
Okay. No, that's okay. I feel like you guys maybe both did 4. Let's see.
What did you
okay.
get, Tess? Did you win?
I think I got maybe like 7 out of 10.
oh, hell
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so everyone play at home, you know.
Let us know.
Let us know what you got. And guys, that's kind of it. That's the girls episode.
Wow.
What
that
a
was
fun
magical.
treat.
Thank you so much, Tess. You really painted a picture.
It was just so fun to have that conversation with you guys.
You did such a great job, Tess.
did.
And like, all I want to do now is watch Girls and then like talk about this for 2 more hours.
I mean, we can always come back, and I hope that like the Rammies you guys either watched or like you're just starting to watch, you can kind of get into the lore of it all because it's fascinating.
I think that Sex and the City, Girls, and Insecure are like life-changing shows. And I think that means that we're due for another one soon. I mean, again, overcompensating like kind of scratches that itch, but
Yes.
it's not the female ensemble.
I will say like the thing that scratched that itch for me in the past few years was Pen 15.
Oh, Pen 15.
Pen
Oh
15.
my God.
And always Broad City. Like I have to put that
Oh,
in
Broad
there just because
City.
it's like there's nothing like those shows. My God, Pen 15 really like.
So good.
can't.
There was a show called Harlem on Prime that I really liked that got canceled, but it was really
Oh,
good.
I remember that. I never saw that.
Yeah. It's a good
Yeah.
watch if you're looking for a girly pop show.
Well, maybe it'll be us next.
It should be us. Wait, Hannah, did you watch Younger?
I dabbled and then I think I dropped off after like season 3.
During Girls, I also was watching Younger at the same time. I remember being like, "Ugh, so many like good roles for women.
On
Sutton Foster playing a 25-year-old.
that's when like by season 3 I was like, this is a ridiculous ruse.
I can't support this show anymore.
I said enough.
Enough.
Well,
man.
Hannah, tell everyone where to find you.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much again for having me. Y'all are the best.
It was a treat.
Stop it. It was a treat for me too.
treat.
You guys can follow me at Hannah Aaron Brown. That's HANNAHAARON anywhere, TikTok, Instagram, and then listen to my podcast, Not Aspirational, with Hannah Aaron Brown.
You guys will not regret it. It is so good. It makes Wednesdays like you're happy when you wake up on a Wednesday, which is nice.
No, I'm telling you guys, you will feel like you're hanging out with your best friend, Hannah. You're so funny. You talk about all the things in life. So like heavier subjects, but bringing them lighter, and also just pop culture. It's so fun.
It's the best.
Thank you, Angels.
Oh, we love you, Hannah. And everyone follow us on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube at Right Answers Mostly. Leave us a review. Comment what you think on Spotify. Subscribe to our premium channel, $7.99 for 3 bonus episodes a month. You can find all of these links in the show notes. And you guys, all adventurous women do.
All adventurous women do. Yeah, I'm sure that'll be me soon. I gotta go. Never mind.